next up is, a lot of students call him K-Pal, a lot of parents call him K-Pal. He is the principal at AI Dupont High School, here to talk about what happened with the 2022 year of varsity football. Welcome to the Plaza.
Thank you for having me. I'm thrilled to be here, and it's a topic I love talking about, which is AI Dupont High School.
Right.
Yes.
It's been my home away from home for the last 14 years.
Are you serious?
I am.
Were you the principal all that time?
13th year as principal. Yes, sir.
Wow. What are you, like 27?
Thank you. I appreciate that. No, 44 years young.
Are you serious?
So, yes, sir. But I do love AI, and that's where I've been, and I'm happy to talk about this and a couple other topics I'd like to bring to the forefront.
And for those of you who don't know, you can call him Kevin Palladinetti.
Right.
Yes, Principal Kevin Palladinetti. Thank you so much again for coming on the show. This was also very special for me because I'm a graduate of AI and a proud Tiger. Yes. And when I saw the story, I immediately reached out to you, Kevin, and I said, we need to get you on the show.
Right.
This is, I was questioning what's going on. Something must be happening. What can we do to help? Right. That was the first thing as a Tiger. I was like, all right, we need to help. There's something going on over there. So I was very, very happy that you were very willing and right away, immediately, messaged me right away to come on the show and talk about it. So let's get right into what happened.
Sure. So number one, we are a comprehensive public high school. We are much more than just a football season.
Right.
So that's the one thing that I want to make sure we put out there is there truly is something for everyone within our school community. But this little sliver of our school community, which does have such a big impact on the, the social emotional component, the school pride component, it was certainly not how any of us wanted to start the season. So, we struggled through the 21 season. Our numbers had been declining over the last couple of years due to a number of unfortunate injuries last season. We were unable to finish the 2021 varsity season.
Oh, wow.
So we were already in the rebuild, so to speak. It was encouraging, we had a change in head coaching, a change in staff, and it was really intended to create an adrenaline shot for the program, and it worked. We had 40 kids sign up. At the end of the school year, we sent 23 kids to a college camp. 7-on-7 numbers were looking pretty good, and then when it came time for preseason, we were dealing with single-digit numbers showing up, and it became a player safety issue at that point. There was a possibility, had we gone into our first week of competition, we would have had an increase in players just show up. It's certainly not what we try to preach. It's certainly not what we try to accomplish with any of our teams, is skip practice and show up for games. That doesn't make anybody better, and we don't stand for that.
You heard that.
So we had to make a call. It was an unfortunate call. It's certainly not how any of us want to start the season. Fall sports season, it's so important to the success of a school year, from the students in the stands, getting to know their classmates a little better, to the band banging away, you're scoring touchdowns. I mean, it is the epitome of school spirit and school pride. And it was a setback for us to have to pull the plug on the varsity season and convert to a JV schedule exclusively.
Is it, okay, because there's a lot, I feel that there's a lot that can cause this issue, right? The pandemic, one, and then coming right out of the pandemic, because they said a lot of students were lost in the pandemic, right? Either they just didn't go back to school or whatever. And high school is built on high school sports.
Correct.
Right?
Well, especially at AI.
Yes.
Anybody that has attended AI or a football game, it's huge. I mean, it was one of the most exciting events to attend. I remember in high school, I actually was in the AI marching band, and I remember attending the football game. It was so exciting, even though I was not watching the football game, I was in the marching band. I was so excited to attend. My family, my friends, and then there was the cheer squad, and then there were, the athletics department. Everybody attended, everybody was there. So it really brought all of us together. There was a lot of unity at the football game. So, when you hear and you're reading that it's canceled, I even felt, oh my gosh, my heart fell into my stomach. I'm like, what happened? Oh, these students are missing out on something. But I will say this, and I have to make mention of this because I witnessed this myself. back in the spring of last year, I actually went to AI for the day. Mr. Palladinetti at K-Pal, sorry, K-Pal. I had reached out to him because with the labor shortage at my restaurant, I'm looking for employees, and I'm, right before the summer, maybe some students want a summer job.
Right.
So I reached out to K-Pal and I said, can I come to the school and recruit? And he goes, absolutely, come on in, whatever you need. And it was, welcomed with open arms. It was great. So I sat in all the lunch periods.
Right.
And I got to speak to all the students, and it was just a great experience. And right next to me was a table with the assistant principal recruiting for all the sports, especially football.
Wow.
And the table was packed. So I can say that I witnessed that you were continuing to actively recruit and get the word out there and advocate for the students and about the opportunities with sports and signing them up. You were helping signing up all these students. So it's not like you guys didn't try. Because I saw it with my own two eyes. You were trying.
The effort was there.
Oh, yes,
the effort is
was.
there every season. It used to be the calendar would flip over and the new season would be upon you, whether it be the fall, winter, spring season, and the athletes would just show up.
Right.
And now you have to coerce them a little bit more. You have to remove some barriers. We do have a wellness center at the school where they can do their physical exams, help get the paperwork completed, because that can sometimes be a barrier too, families getting to their pediatricians.
Right.
So we try to make it as user-friendly as possible, but gone are the days where you could just sit back and assume they're going to show up.
Right.
You actually have to go out and actively recruit within your own student population to come on out and play.
So what's the plan for next year? Let's just get into next year.
I'm very glad you asked that.
Yes.
So
Yes.
our slogan now within the football program is the future starts now. And I'm happy to say that almost immediately after we made the announcement, the decision to go to the JV schedule exclusively, we had an increase in ninth grade players, freshman players.
Okay.
Some with limited experience, some had been playing, in youth organizations. But for whatever reason, they were just hesitant to join the squad. I think now with the JV schedule, they feel that they're going to be able to develop a little bit more, kind of grow into the program, let the program grow with them. So we've been averaging close to 30 players for the last 2 weeks coming out.
Wonderful.
We feel as if these players are going to allow us to compete at the 1A level next year.
Okay.
As we know, Delaware shifted a couple years ago to how they do their football classes. There's the 3A, the 2A, and the 1A, and we were in a very competitive 2A class.
Yeah.
And I don't want to assume too much, but talking to some of the students, because they didn't have a lot of football experience, especially coming out of the pandemic,
Yes.
not a lot of opportunities to play at the 6th, 7th, and 8th grade levels.
Right.
They just didn't feel like they were ready to get thrown into a varsity level team.
Right.
And us pausing and going to JV, it allowed a lot of students to come out. So the numbers are very encouraging right now.
good.
Okay.
The coaching staff, I have to give it to Coach Heyman and his staff.
Which Heyman?
Marcus Heyman.
Okay.
Yeah, he's a local guy,
Yeah.
and I'll tell you, he didn't skip a beat.
Right.
Obviously he didn't like the decision, but he understood why we had to do it.
Right.
He was a part of the collaborative group, but every single day since then, he has approached it with the same intensity that he was when we were kind of prepping last spring, and then through the summer. It's as if we are still running a varsity level program.
What are some of the things that you're hearing from the community?
So this actually triggered much bigger conversations, and it's been everything from the decline in youth sports across the country, which there are some interesting statistics if you start to look into them.
Okay.
LA Times, for example, did a story back in 2021 about over a 10-year period of time from 2008 to 2018, there was a 7% decline in youth sports across the country.
Wow.
Since the pandemic, that percent decrease has only accelerated. And families are saying things like, the pandemic allowed them to kind of reevaluate some of their priorities. Cost has become an issue. Local leagues are closing up. I know the Capital Little League and the Midway Little League, which were two Little League organizations in this area, they had to merge just recently. They're now the Mid-Cap Little League. So we're seeing evidence of that locally. Then you factor in, in the Red Clay School District, where I've proudly been an employee for over 20 years, families have a lot of options, including some charters and magnet programming, and that's prompted some additional conversations about the impact the charters and magnets are having on the comprehensive schools like myself. So when you bring all those things together and you see a nationwide decline in youth sports and just a lot of options in a very condensed area. Where my school's located, there are 17 high school options.
Yes.
In there's, as a parent myself, it's great to have options, right?
Yeah.
But as the principal of the high school, I hate that there are so many options.
Right.
And I had a chance to speak with Kay Powell prior to this interview, and you even mentioned that it's not like you didn't have the resources for these students. You were able to provide them with shoe wear, cleats, uniforms.
Absolutely.
They didn't have no extra costs. Transportation. You were able to feed them. So you were able. It was like almost like a scholarship for playing football in AI. Like they didn't have to really invest anything, just their time.
Correct.
Did it hurt your heart?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. It is the best way to start a high school experience is to get involved and to, as a principal, it's a very proud moment when your team's winning the game, you're on the sideline, you're monitoring, you have your, school colors on and everybody's celebrating and it's a great experience. To not have that with football specifically, it does feel as if something's incomplete at the moment. Volleyball still plugging away, soccer still plugging away, cross country as well. So there are still competitive teams happening right now. It's just football, band, they get all the glory to start the season. But the one thing that I do want to say is, another trend that we're seeing is a lot of fixation on one sport. Single sport athletes are becoming more and more the norm. The multi-sport athlete is somewhat a thing of the past.
Come on, Kay Powell. I mean, we're talking about Bo Jackson, Deion Sanders.
Exactly.
It was only them.
I know.
You're telling the truth, though. You're telling the truth. Because, when I was in '94 at Glasgow, like our whole football team down there played basketball.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Correct. And the message that I want to make sure I can continue to get out to parents and guardians is have your kids get involved. Everybody reevaluated priorities and their time and what they're doing. And a lot of students within our community are working, they're caring for siblings, they're helping support the needs of the family. And that is critically important, and we understand that. But so too is the high school experience and getting involved in interscholastics and extracurriculars. And my encouragement to everybody is to just get involved. Whether it's football or any other sport. You do high school one time, you might as well make the most of it while you're there. Plenty of time to work.
And I have to make mention and note of this, that there are many successful and accomplished athletes that attend AI high school right now.
Yeah.
We had one of them on our show, Dante. He was the track
Dante
star.
Dockeray.
Oh, yeah.
Remember?
Oh,
With our head track coach, Coach Flowers.
That's right.
Yeah.
Boom.
See, so AI is a force to be reckoned with.
No, AI is a good high school.
More than good. It's great.
I've been outnumbered
I agree.
with blue
I
ends.
agree.
I done been outnumbered with tigers. We're DSU. I got one person from DSU here. There you go, my girl.
We give lots of love to both. You know that. We give lots of love to all of our educators.
Yes.
All of our students. We are big advocates on advocating for educators and the student athletes and students in general.
Yes.
So we're all about that here at Good Morning Wilmington. But more importantly, being able to give you a platform to speak on about this issue, because yes, it is an issue, but it will not take AI down.
No.
Not at all. It's too big of a school community, and there's too many awesome things happening within the building. We have 13 alumni on staff teaching right now. There are people that bleed blue and gold for the school.
Oh, yes,
so
we do.
it's impossible for us to not make it. This is a piece of our story. It's not our story. And as we're getting into high school selection season in just a couple weeks, where families are going to start filling out applications for next year, my encouragement to any parents that are out there is come check us out. There's a lot to offer. We're having a great start to our school year. It's even with this setback, it's positive vibes only in the school.
Set up.
For sure.
Not setbacks. Set up.
I love it.
Right.
Not setback. We don't believe in setbacks around here.
I like
set
it.
ups.
Well, K-Pal, we're just winding down right now with the interview, but is there anything else you want to mention or make note of that we did not touch on before we end?
I feel really good about what I wanted to get out, which was encouraging students to get involved in the high school experience. And the last thing I'm going to say is, our school motto is stand upright and endure. And it's a moment like this where we have to epitomize that. It is a setup, not a setback. We're going to stand up and endure. And I think we're seeing that play out with the number of students that are now on the field as we get ready for our first JV game, which happens next week.
Nice.
30 is a good place to be right
Yes,
now.
There we go.
Thank
there we
you.
go.
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Thank
K-Pal,
you.
for coming
Thank you. Happy to be
by
here.
the Plaza. Appreciate you. What's up, everyone? It's your main man, Big Ivan, the talk of the town, Mr. DETVCH.com, and I'm here with my wonderful and amazing co-host,
Vincenza.
We just stopped by to tell you to be sure, if you want any information on what's going on in Wilmington and to meet some dynamic people doing some amazing and great things, be sure to watch us live on Good Morning Wilmington on Mondays and Wednesdays at 10 p.m.
Oh, Ivan, 10 a.m.
Which he said, 10 a.m.
Listen to me. That's why he has me here. But yes, tune in live, 10 a.m. Monday and Wednesday on Good Morning Wilmington.
DETVCH.com.